Hello, I'm at London's Paddington Station, just about to jump on the Heathrow Express. Do come along. I'm heading on a domestic trip in the UK to Manchester. British Airways have hopefully rostered one of their new A320neos with the new cabin interior. Let's go and have a look at that on a very short flight up to Manchester. Also having a look at the first wing at London Heathrow.
Traveling the world on planes, trains, trams, and more. Join Mark Hopwood as he shows you some of the great journeys he's made. Let's travel to a whole variety of destinations. Remember to drop your comment below, like and subscribe, turn on the notification button, and never miss a video.
So I've arrived at Heathrow's Terminal 5 on my way up to Manchester. In the short time that I've been looking at this flight in the last 24 hours, British Airways have actually allocated 4 different aircraft to this flight. The BA A320neo up to Manchester operates under the call sign Shuttle to Victor. And that's not unusual. BA are often shuffling the fleet around to deal with operational and maintenance issues, and originally it was one of the older Airbus A320s and then one of the newer ones, but in the last few minutes they've reallocated the aircraft again, and they've just allocated a brand new A320neo that actually only arrived into traffic about 8 days ago. So it's the newest A320 in the fleet. Now I've no idea if in the next 2.5 hours their operations centre might make some further changes to the fleet allocation, and I may end up disappointed. But at the moment I'm heading into the airport in anticipation of a brand new A320neo with the new interior that BA have designed for their short-haul aircraft. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully that's the aircraft I'll have on the very short flight today up to Manchester. Welcome to Heathrow's Terminal 5, the start of yet another video from Terminal 5. But if you've been looking through my fleet updates, wondering when another flight review was on its way, well, the time has come, dear viewer. So hope you're looking forward to this. We'll make our way through Terminal 5. Just checking the flight there on the screen, 12:50, the BA A320neo. Many years ago we'd have called this the shuttle. Now BA just call it their Manchester flights through the first wing into the first wing check-in section. Not that I need to check anything in. I'm through security, making my way into the first class lounge via this very glitzy corridor full of bright illuminated adverts that's slightly dazzling. But this is the sign that you're about to walk through into the first class lounge. That's what the first wing does. It gives you access straight into the first class lounge, and this is one of the benefits of having the BA Gold card. Half an hour on a domestic flight with British Airways to Manchester and you do get these benefits, but probably not for much longer, as British Airways are evicting most of us leisure travellers out of the Gold card category of their new BA club. There's the horse, the wall, the departure screens, and you're into the first class lounge. Lots of nice seating, buffet, new hot food station that serves some freshly developed food, as well as coffee machines, drinks. But it was a bit earlier in the day for me, so breakfast, traditional breakfast with bacon, sausage, egg, scrambled egg that is. And then out of the lounge down to my gate, A for Alpha, number 2, and there is my Airbus A320 sat patiently waiting for us on gate A2, and I'm sat patiently waiting for boarding to start, but it doesn't take too long. And of course I'm in group 1, which is a nice benefit to have, and luckily no buses today, no nonsense messing about. Hopefully we'll get away on time, quite close to the runway. Let's have a look at this flight to Manchester. 27 right, intersection departure, we'll see that in a minute. Golf Tango Tango November Victor is an A320, quite new with the new interior. That's what a British Airways A320 looks like.
Manchester Day. Our captain today, Stephen Shields, and a great team in the cabin, led by Carla, assisted by Christopher, Emily, Fiona, and Andrew. Shortly, they'll be giving you a safety demonstration. I do ask, please, that you pay this your full attention. Flight time today is in the vicinity of about half an hour, and there is a little bit of turbulence forecast today, so we do recommend that when seated, keep your seatbelts loosely fastened. And should we eliminate the seatbelt signs, please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. I'll try and get back to you in the flight with the weather and the arrival time in Manchester, but for now, please enjoy the short flight with us and our hospitality. Thank you.
Now, we pushed back from the stand. We had one of the new battery-powered tugs. They're much smaller than the old petrol or diesel-powered versions. Quite a lot of power in a small amount of space. Part of the British Airways concerted effort to decarbonise and improve its contribution to the environment. But didn't take us long to push back from gate Alpha 2 and ready to get our safety brief. And rainy day, quite a lot of cloud cover, so it's not the best flying conditions from London Heathrow. So there we go, there's the electric battery tug with its operator who walks alongside, no room for them to sit. They don't need to drive and steer, it's all operated by their remote control unit. They're heading back to the safety of the terminal. We're starting our engines and getting ready for departure. Now I'm just going to show you on the airport plan with that blue line the route that we took. We actually used one of the high-speed exits from runway 09 left to enter 27 left. There we go, we're passing the threshold for runway 27 right. We're bypassing quite a few of the long-haul aircraft, pushing in, jumping the queue, so to speak. And of course, as you head along this high-speed taxiway, you see this is quite exciting, this stuff. You head along the high-speed taxiway in really what's the wrong direction, but it's a great opportunity for the pilots to advance the throttles and build up a little bit of speed, so as you get to the runway you're already moving at a reasonable pace. And of course they wouldn't allow you to join the runway at this point if they weren't really ready for your departure. So the crew advance the throttles and we're off underway on our journey up to Manchester, heading along runway 27 right, climbing up into the air. So there we are, airborne from 27 right at London Heathrow, just getting ready for the right turn at Burnham as we climb and head to a cruising altitude, which on this flight I think was only just about 18,000 feet. But you can see relatively low cloud cover, so into the clouds straight away and not a lot more to see. So once we'd settled down from the initial climb, time to have a quick look at the menu here on this Club Europe flight. Now, if we were flying in the United States of America in what they call first class, we wouldn't be offered anything at all. But that is actually the breakfast menu from an earlier flight that I pulled out of the seat pocket just to prove that the British Airways cleaning is not terribly clever. But here's the lunch and dinner menu, and not a huge amount of choice, but one main dish with a vegetarian alternative, full bar, tea and coffee being served with a very small dessert. But it's not a bad offer, as I say, on a 30-minute flight, and lots of passengers decline any food or drink, but quite a few take advantage of it. And there you are, there is the salad with some chicken, a bread roll, a chocolate dessert, full metal cutlery available to you as well. I was doing some work, so no alcohol for me, but I took advantage of a cranberry juice, and then subsequently, there you are, there's the cranberry juice, and after that I, as well as a glass of water, I ordered myself a cup of coffee. You might think all this sent me rushing to the loo, but that wasn't absolutely necessary on this flight. So once you're above the clouds, of course, slightly more pleasant weather, the sun is shining, and it's great actually to have that snack, enjoy a drink, sit back, relax, enjoy the environment in this relatively new Airbus A320. It's fitted with the latest seat designs, and let's have a quick look at those. Here's some footage I took once everyone had got off. Really smart, these blue red trimmed seats. They look nice. I think British Airways have done a good job with this. It just adds a little bit of class, a little bit of character to the aircraft compared to the plain blue leather. So now it's time to prepare for our descent. Of course, you're not at cruising altitude for very long on these Manchester flights. As you come across the southern part of Derbyshire, you're well into the descent. You're not always approaching Manchester, of course, from the east, but it is the normal arrival route on flights for most of the time at Manchester. Just a few words about the onboard service on these flights. I'm talking about my experience in Club Europe cabin. Relatively recently, in the last decade or so, I guess British Airways have been offering Club on the domestic flights. Previously it was domestic only. In economy, the passengers are offered the opportunity to buy from the bar, although obviously the amount of time allowed for that is fairly minimal, so generally people just get a cup of water and a very small and a very light snack. So we're just emerging from the cloud cover in southern Manchester, coming in over Stockport now as we make our approach to Manchester. Manchester past the Emirates Airbus A380, speed brakes, manual braking, right hand turn off the runway past the spectators area, and then it's a moderately lengthy taxi back along the route we came to Terminal 3. British Airways still flying out of Terminal 3 at Manchester. Those of you that have flown in or out of Terminal 3, although it's a fairly grotty experience. British Airways choosing to share Terminal 3 with Ryanair. You make of that what you will, but the facilities are not great, and they're probably worse as an experience upon departure than they are on arrival, I would say. So a lot of investment going into some of the other terminals, and maybe at some point British Airways will review that decision, of course.
Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to Manchester. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the fasten seatbelt signs have been switched off. When it is safe for you to do so, do take care when you open your overhead lockers, as items may have moved and could fall out and cause injury. You may now make a receipt call.
Cabin crew, thank you. Doors to manual and cross check.
the aircraft parks on the stand 142 Manchester. Time for everyone to gather their belongings and get ready for exiting the aircraft. I'm one of the first off, straight up the jetty. No luggage to collect from baggage claim. Looking back at the aircraft and then making my way up through the domestic arrivals area in Terminal 3. Quite a quick, efficient process generally as an arriving passenger. Not sure what the baggage experience is like, but it's a different story on departure. But my next video from Manchester features a departure of a different nature as I try out a rather unique departures process. But that video will be coming to you here on Mark's Trains, Planes and Trams very soon. I got one last glimpse of our aircraft in the rain, parked on the stand as I made my way back through arrivals, heading to the railway station at Manchester to jump on a train into central Manchester. I'm going to share that experience with you right now as a little bit of extra bonus footage at the end of this video. But here we go, leaving Terminal 3. There's no covered indoor walkway from Terminal 3 to the railway station, so you are, I suppose this bit's covered, but not all of it is covered, so you're asked to walk. It's quite a lengthy walk actually. If you struggle with long distances you may need to think about this, but you set off round the side of Terminal 3, round the side of Terminal 1, which you walk through, and then eventually you reach the main walkway, having gone up in a lift as well to add to your transfer excitement on the way to what they call the station, which is where the trains, the trams, buses and long distance coaches all gather at Manchester International Airport. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that experience right now as I head across to the station to board my train. As you may gather, you wouldn't want to leave these connections too tight, and this walk was disrupted even further by the unavailability of some of the moving walkways, which you can see here. So not a great experience if you're carrying lots of luggage about. These walkways have reached a certain age, they're quite unreliable, they need, I suspect, replacement. But soon I was at the station in Manchester, boarding a relatively new diesel multiple unit, part of the Northern Trains fleet, for a service heading up to Lancs and Cumbria.
The gap between the train and the platform edge.
Well, as you can see, this is Gatley Station. I'm on the Manchester Airport to Windermere service operated by Northern. It's one of their Class 195 DMUs, quite a new train, very nice it is too. So the flight from London Heathrow, short and sweet, a sort of classic British Airways short haul experience really. A little list of things that were really very good: a nice new aircraft, a new trim, nice environment, clean plane. Staff were pretty good on board, not overly friendly, but they were knowledgeable, efficient, and they got the job done and they delivered everything I asked of them, so great from that point of view, can't really complain. The boarding experience was pretty poor. It always amazes me when people like Ryanair can spin a jet round in 25 minutes, why it takes British Airways so long to board an aircraft that's been sat there for an hour and a half on the ground at Heathrow, which is their home airport. It's one of life's continuing mysteries.
Welcome aboard this Northern service to Windermere.
There we go. So
The next station stop
go on, then.
is Manchester Piccadilly.
So yeah, I can't really get my head around that. They came round asking to check everyone's boarding cards when we were stood in the jetty, and eventually they found someone whose boarding card hadn't been issued properly. They swapped them over, but the boarding process was very slow. I had to actually take a phone call for work at just the time they called groups 1 and then group 2, so I boarded with everyone else, which was fine, but it did take a long time. Eventually found somewhere for my bag. Food very good. You know, you don't really need food, do you, on a half-an-hour flight? But they brought food. I had a cranberry juice and a water, and I asked for a coffee afterwards, and it was all delivered. And I asked for oat milk in my coffee, and they came along and poured that in from a large carton. The departure from Heathrow, we were straight out 27 right. You saw that intersection departure, which was a bit of fun, did get us away a little bit quicker. Right-hand turn at Burnham, straight up and in over Derbyshire, left-hand turn at Glossop, and into Manchester, and a fairly expeditious taxi into our stand domestic arrivals at Manchester final. It's a bit of a walk to the station. So I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of a treat at the end of the video for you on this Northern Class 195. That's the Manchester Airport experience from London Heathrow on a British Airways domestic flight with a relatively new A320neo. Do watch out for my video of the return journey, where I'm going to feature the VIP departure experience from Manchester Airport. I'll catch you here on Mark's Trains, Planes and Trams very soon.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.